I couldn't have actually imagined the way that all of this has gone with Elon and Doge and the disappearing people into foreign gulags and threatening American citizens and threatening law firms, universities, states. It's just, it is absolutely insane. And so I'd love for you to give us a little bit, and then I want to hear who you are and why you're running and all of those good things. But just since you mentioned you were at those town halls, give us a little bit of like sense of who was there and why they were there and how many people were there. And I know this is like a fairly red area, so just talk to us about some of those dynamics.
Right. So what Victoria Sparks would like to say is that we're all, paid protesters paid off by
Right.
Soros. I'm still
Right.
waiting on my paycheck. I don't know about you guys, but no, these are very median voters. These are like teachers worried about their pay and about like public education. They're more elderly people worried about their Social Security, their Medicaid. These are people who are like veterans, like myself, who are worried about their health care. Victoria Sparks voted against the PACT Act in 2022, which guaranteed that health care was given to veterans exposed to toxic burn pits overseas. So she doesn't support our veterans. She doesn't support our elderly people. She's a huge advocate of all these Doge cuts at the VA, over at the FAA, the national parks and other areas. So these are not paid protesters. These are not just Democratic operatives trying to infiltrate. These are people who have real concerns for their country and real concerns about their jobs, their families, their friends. And Victoria Sparks danced around all of our questions and did not address anything. So, yeah, people are concerned, and Sparks did not answer any of our questions.
So I am curious. So why exactly are you running? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right. So I'm Jackson Franklin. I'm 25 years old. I'm a combat medic in the Indiana Army National Guard. I'm also a paramedic in my community. What inspired me to run, I was really called to it by my friends and family. And we need to fight the corruption in politics. I'm a grassroots populist inspired by Bernie Sanders, AOC, and you guys, of course, Crystal and Kyle. And then so I want to overturn Citizens United. I want to ban lobbying, corporate lobbying. We need to have public funding of our elections. And no one in this district was really fighting as hard as this campaign's prepared to fight. No one's standing up for the progressive values that we stand for. And, Indiana is a working class state. We need working class candidates that only take small dollar donations and not large corporate donations. Time and time again, we see these corporate Democrats, these establishment Democrats go up against corrupt Republicans, and then they lose in record fashion. The only way to win, it's morally right to just listen to the people, and then it's strategically right as well. So when we take only small dollar donations the grassroots way, it's the only way we could win, right? And so, yeah, I'm just prepared to fight for progressive values, things that most Americans already support already, and then most people in Indiana already support. As I mentioned, Indiana is a working class Rust Belt state. Indiana back in 2016 voted largely for Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton. So when you want to see what the Democrats want and what the base wants, Indiana makes itself very clear about what kind of Democratic candidates they want. And that's the Democratic candidate I like to be.
Jackson, just tell us a little bit about the specifics of your district. What are some of the major industries? What type of people live there, et cetera?
Right. So we're made up of 6 counties. So there's, on the most populated side, it's Hamilton County. So you got like Noblesville. It's just north of Indianapolis. So you have a lot of banking communities there. But we also, in Kokomo, there's also a Stellantis factory. So like there's UAW workers. We have a lot of farmers here. We were hit hard by NAFTA, so we have a lot of factory exodus during that time.
Yeah.
So a lot of laid off workers, and it's middle America. It's working class America, as much as you can think about it. So,
were there layoffs at that Stellantis factory, or was it a different Stellantis factory? I know that there were 900 people laid off. Was that Ohio? Or was
it was Michigan and Indiana.
Michigan and Indiana. So wow,
it's the one in my district.
Really? So what have you heard from people about how they're thinking about this like tariff situation?
The tariffs, people are pissed off, right? But yeah, everything's going to go up, and I'm in talks with the Kokomo UAW president about, maybe making some kind of protest, some kind of statement to protect our jobs here in the district.
Yeah.
But the tariffs, we're not revitalizing our industry back in the country. So these, universal tariffs are going to definitely hurt everyone. If he got rid of the CHIPS Act, which would have brought 150,000 jobs, 250,000 jobs back in the country. And then he sets a tariff on Taiwan, who makes our chips. So it makes no sense at all. Our prices are going to go up all across the country, and this is going to hurt everybody.
What do you make, Jackson? I've never seen anything like what Elon Musk is doing right now, where he basically buys the presidency, then he illegally hacks in to our government programs, starts stealing everybody's data, and then most importantly, illegally slashing our social safety net day after day, whether it's Social Security or the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau or, the pediatric cancer research that the NIH does. I've never seen anything like this, and I think what people want to hear from Democrats in this moment, especially ones that are running, is that it's a real high priority to, number one, defend Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, but even potentially, like Bernie always says, expand Social Security. That's a program which has been wildly successful. Everybody loves it. It'd be great if we could give seniors a raise. It'd be great if we could expand the program and eventually get to a Social Security for all program. What's your take on what Elon's doing, and what would your policy be on that?
Right. So I think what he's doing is unconstitutional. It's illegal. And I think the Democratic Party needs to grow a spine and call for the arrest of Elon Musk. What they're doing is taking a wrecking ball to all of our systems and all of our laws. And we need to be down, as you mentioned, we need to go down in the history books and being on the right side of things. So we need to arrest Donald Trump for getting rid of many of the things we taken for granted, our, basic rule of law. And Elon Musk, who's buying our elections, thankfully he lost in Wisconsin, but yeah, and we need to stand up. We need to expand Medicaid. We need to expand Medicare. We need to protect Social Security. There's thousands of people who have not got their Social Security checks, and we need to ensure that they get those, right? We're taking care of people. We need to expand it and protect it.
What are you hearing? What do you think, and what are you hearing from the Democrats in your district about how the Democratic Party leadership is meeting the moment? We just talked in our intro about Gretchen Whitmer being at the Oval Office, going to the White House to hang out with Trump for some reason. Obviously, Schumer completely caving to the Republicans, when at the one point when Senate Democrats had some sort of leverage that they could use. How are people feeling about this party and how the leadership is meeting the moment right now?
Right. People are largely pissed off at the Democrats, right? So, Chuck Schumer voted to get rid of our Medicaid just as much as the Senate Republicans did. And time again, we have these corrupt Democrats who continually fail us. And if given the chance, they're going to fail us again. And we need to go into we have a time right now, an opportunity to really change this party in a more grassroots populist way. And what people are saying is, Cory Booker's, long 25-hour speech, that was great, but he didn't block any bills. And then he voted to support Israel the very next day. Yeah. So the theater is good. We want people who are out there and fighting, but we want to do it in ways that express the will of the people. And, where was this 25-hour speech when the CR bill passed that got $880 billion out of our Medicaid? So we need fighters in Congress, and we need to get money out of politics, really, because that's the core of most of our issues here.
Yeah, I think that's really correct. And that is one of the things that I'm a little concerned about is right now, I just want everybody to, like you said, grow a spine, to
just
fight.
Resist everything. Fight everything, because they're wrong about everything. It's amazing.
Do everything you can to obstruct, to, get out there, make the case, the Stop Oligarchy tour, go into different districts and having town halls, everything you can think to do, go out and do it. But I also want to make sure that at the end of the day, we are getting, an ideology that's actually going to be different and deliver for people so that we don't end up in the same place again. And so that's one of the reasons why we're really heartened to see that you are not only out there taking on someone who obviously needs to be removed from Congress. Love to see that you're so young and, Lord knows it needs some new blood. You had two Democrats literally die in office, handing more of a margin to Mike Johnson in the process. AOC overlooked for the Oversight Committee by Jerry Connolly, who is not only elderly but battling cancer. So great to see that you're young. But we were really excited to see that you also had, a populist progressive platform so that you won't just be talking the talk, you'll actually be walking the walk.
Right.
Yeah, let me ask you this. So resisting everything Trump is doing is mission number one. But beyond that, to me, the big dividing line of the moment is that Democrats have to have their own narrative and their own story. And the problem is not trans people. It's not immigrants. They're our brothers and sisters. The problem, it's clearly the billionaires. The billionaires have hijacked this government. Robber barons have hijacked it. They took it over. And they rigged the system in their favor and against everybody else. So let me ask you, assuming we have this big Democratic wave and you get in there, what, in your opinion, are like the most important policies for you to fight for?
Most important policies would definitely be to ban like insider stock trading, banning corporate lobbying. Medicare for all is definitely like a huge, I'm very passionate about that. You know, I worked on the ambulance as an EMT, and I took several veterans back home to die because they didn't have any health insurance. So this issue is very personal to me. And it's not just veterans, it's all people all across this country. But we need, 68,000 Americans die every year, and that number is only going up under Trump. But 68,000, we're basically having a war on poor people's health care every single year, and Congress is not doing anything about it. Obviously, the White House is not going to do anything about it. We need to gain the House back, and we need to gain the presidency back to guarantee health care to all as a human right and not as a privilege. So, and also, I'm a big advocate of paid family leave. I think once a family, has a child, whether they're born or adopted, they should have the time to take care of that child, right? And universal daycare, universal pre-K, universal school lunches, also fighting for a living wage and stronger unions.
I would love for you to reflect a little bit more on some of the experiences you've had as a paramedic, because you've seen the horrors of our broken healthcare system up close. So, what sort of brought you to the politics that you have currently?
Right. So, yeah, of course, seeing people deny further care because they don't want to bankrupt their families was very touching to me. People who did not, our ambulances cost like anywhere between $500 and $1,000, right? That should be like fraud. Like that should not be a thing. People in Mexico and Canada, they would think that would be a joke, right? So that is obviously really touching to me. And then, yeah, just guaranteeing people have the care they need. And also, having Medicare for all laid out. And then, we need to expand Medicaid in the meantime, expand Medicare. We need to include Medicare to have, hearing, eyesight, and dental. That's kind of Bernie proposed that. And it was, what was it? The West Virginia senator.
Manchin.
Manchin, yeah, and Kirsten Sinema.
Oh, yeah. Love them.
Yeah, they
were great, right?
If I gave you one question, one thing you could say to Representative Spartz, what would you say to her?
I would say to read the Constitution, and she needs to resign. She needs to stop taking any corporate money. She's only beholden to her ruling class donors, and she needs to start representing and fighting for the working class.
Love that. Love that. So do everybody a favor. Tell them how they can support you, how they can donate to you, and all that great stuff.
Right. So shameless plugs. Go to jacksonfranklinforcongress.com to see all the socials. You could donate, see the full policy platform, and learn more about me. Or it's Jackson Franklin for Congress on Instagram and on Facebook. And
remember, guys, he doesn't take any corrupt money, no billionaire money, no PAC money. It's all grassroots money. And remember, this next election cycle that's coming up, it truly is the Democratic Tea Party. Guys, we just did 2 awesome interviews with people running for Congress. Jackson Franklin is running for Congress in Indiana, and Kat Abu-Ghazaleh is running for Congress in Illinois. These are young up-and-comers. They're progressive. They want the Democratic Party to fight. They stand for all the right policies. Definitely check this out. Sign up on Substack below. You're not going to want to miss it.